Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Grim. I hope you're all good this fine day. What is this all about, Grim? What are you doing? Well, as you will all know, Warlords of Draenor has released, and although it wasn't the smoothest of births for an expansion, in fact, far from it, it's kind of kickstarted me into a lot of things I've been putting on hold and wanting to get done when Warlords came out. So this is the first of, and this is my Monday mailbox. Many of you, if you've been with Warcraft for many moons, will know of Total Biscuit, now primarily a StarCraft fame and his WTF series. But before he turned his back on the light and followed the dark side, he was a WoW player, and a huge one. He primarily is probably most famous for his Cataclysm beta coverage. And one of the things he did was a little series called the Mailbox, I believe. Apologies if that's wrong, but from memory I think it's the Mailbox. And basically what he would do is go onto the WoW forums or go through letters, comments he'd received, and basically give his side to what somebody had put. Whether their argument was valid, invalid, just a counterpoint, just to get the flow, the juices going. So now he has left us and gone off to America to do StarCraft and WTF and all those good things. So I've decided that I'm going to do my own mailbox. So I really love the idea. So, what are we going to be covering? Well, obviously we'll be covering Warlords of Draenor and general WoW stuff, but I also want to cover some of those other games. The games that haven't come out yet, for instance, Eternal Crusade, also games like Mordheim, which I'm really excited about, games like Armageddon, just general tidbits, things we get on various forums. It's just going to be a smorgasbord of different things. So, without further ado, we're going to kick this off Warlords of Draenor and what people have been saying on the forums. So here we go, first up. Okay, I'm not putting names against any of these. If you want to find out, it's easy enough. Just go on the WoW forums. It's not difficult. It's all there. So, without further ado, here's the first one. And it is about flying mounts and flying in general. So, I was doing group Apex Crystals, Garrison dailies, and just generally running around the world doing content. A lot of times, I actually use ground mounts, even in Mists of Pandora, because I enjoy exploring the scenery. But for efficiency, I always went airborne. As we were running around, I don't know if the voice will stay, as we were running around doing rares, etc., I saw something and wanted to quickly hop there, realising that I can't fly, and I actually needed to traverse the environment to get there. All good, we've beautifully set the scene, so on to part 2. On to the next bit. At this point, it hit me! As you can always ride mounts, but you don't need to. It gives so much to enjoying the zones and the content. Okay, here we go. This is my little interjection at this point. You don't need to run in the game full stop. You could walk everywhere. But no one argues that running shouldn't be in the game. It makes life easier for many, and for the few, it's an option that you don't have to take, okay? Here we go, back on this one. Obviously, I'm just parenting the sentiment that went into making this decision in the first place. Well, I would actually question that. I would imagine that a large part of the decision for not having flight in the game from the start, or available once you hit level 100, is due to the rushed nature of the release, which we're all aware of. The beta was too short, just the general nature, it was rushed out because of games like WildStar and everything else. Nobody, I don't think any deep down, denies that that's the truth. And much like the original Azeroth, of the behind-the-scenes areas will not be in a state to be expected by people with flying mounts, who can go anywhere and look at anything. So, but let's go back on. Here we go. Let's continue. Zone flow is so freaking godlike, it would be the biggest travesty. The most important battle lost if we cave into whiners on this one. Okay, so the reason that zones flow is due to the nature of questing. When you go from, say, Frostfire to Gorgrond, it's one of the best transitions you'll ever see. I won't go into details because I don't want to spoil it for you, but it is one of the best transitions I've ever done in WoW. From the battle to the 2 dead orcs, as I'm not going to go into details, but it's amazing. But now, from a level 100 point of view, it's a white zone going into a brown zone. Most players will do PvP in Ashran or PvE 5-man's raids. The only reason they'll generally head out into the world is for professions, mounts and dailies. For those, you want ease. You do not want to be enjoying the spectacle of the transition when for the fucking 4th week and doing it every day, you've gone out to do yet another daily, or you've gone out to mine stuff. So, you know, just you need to keep that focus that although it's amazing at launch, when you've been doing this for a couple of months, it's going to be a pain in the ass if you're not able to fly. But let's carry on. His argument continues. I opposed ever having flying, even before Warlords of Draenor came out. But I was willing to accept it should it happen. But now that I've played it, man, please don't. Okay, so I've thought a lot about this answer, and I'm trying to make it so it doesn't end up with like, okay, you don't like something, so you don't want it, which is exactly what you're saying, but I kind of want to answer it slightly more constructively than that. I've explored and seen more of Mr. Pandara from a flying amount. Areas I'd never have seen or gone to because they were nowhere near my dailies or whatever else. I just wouldn't have gone there. Because of the ease of being able to fly, I have explored and seen more of Mist than, as I say, I ever would have done being restricted to ground mount or flight zones. To be fair, I would have probably sat in Shrine of Two Moons, maybe used the flight points to go to each one of my dailies, done, and then queued for 5-mans and raids. And that would have been it. I wouldn't have seen half the things I've seen just because I had the ease to go out and fly. You got to remember, okay, before you raise that flag with "WoW must be played this way," bear in mind that it's an MMO, dude. Catering to many people enjoy the game many different ways. I don't agree with PvP, but I don't believe it should be stripped from the game. But you know what I do because I don't like WoW PvP? I don't do it. It's a huge MMO with an awful lot on the table. If you don't like one thing, go and do something else. If you don't like flying, well, don't do it. Use a ground mount permanently, and if there is a point in the game in which they have forced you to use a flying mount, then raise the issue, because that does affect you. They should cater for everyone. Okay, so last part, and this is the little snide bit in brackets. So open bracket, a little note to the lazy people. You have flight paths and summoning stones, and you have 2 freaking hearthstones that you can strategically place, and you can have a mage tower, close brackets. I actually added in, but there we go. So, this is the point where I kind of wish I hadn't done my previous statement, because this is where he lets his argument down completely, okay? Open bracket. A little note to lazy people. You have flight paths and summoning stones, and you have 2 freaking hearthstones that you can strategically place, and you have a mage tower, close bracket. I added that at the end just in case you were wondering. So this to me is where what could have been a really constructive conversation kind of falls flat on its face. Because it's basically revealed that you're trying to be elitist by saying, I'm not elitist. You're saying only the hardcore, right, hardcore ride on the ground. You big sissy boys get your flying and you mess it all up for everybody else. And I don't think that's right. I think everybody should be forced to be hardcore like me because I'm fucking amazing. And you're all big wussy boys. Okay, now here's 2 points for you. Okay, it's the first one. You don't want to do it, don't fly. Game doesn't force you to, as far as I'm aware. If there is a point, as I said before, where the game forces you to fly and you don't want to, that's an issue that should be raised. Maybe make a ramp to wherever you've got to go. I don't know. Vortex Pinnacle in Cataclysm was such an example. You couldn't fly, you couldn't go there by ground mount. There was no way, as far as I'm aware, to fly there. I don't know if Vortex had a flight point. But, so if there was an issue like that, raise it. It's a valid argument. If you're a role player and you don't want to fly, it's a valid thing to ask for. But to say that, let's say you and I own the same car, and it's got air conditioning, you're an environmentalist, you don't believe in the air conditioning, you think you should sweat, because that's what real men do. Real men sweat in the heat. I don't use air conditioning. And rather than just say, I'm not going to use my air conditioning, but that guy, he's a big sissy, he wants to use air conditioning, fine, let him. You want the company to come along and rip the air conditioning out of my fucking car. It doesn't work like that. And 2, and this is where the whole thing breaks down. So it could have been a good argument, but then at the end, he lets himself down completely. Let's go back, okay? If you need to, just click back. Let's go to the opening argument. The opening passage where he sets the groundstone for what he's going to say. His opening passage was, for efficiency, I always went airborne. So, what the fuck is the point of your argument? Oh yes, that's right. I don't like it, so it shouldn't be in the game. Fuck it, I did use that line in the end. Okay, next one up, here we go. Implementing the Garrison Resources, heroes on missions, and requirements for professions. I might compare it to dailies. You must do. I see what you did there, Blizzard, winky face. P.S. and I hate it! Well, thank you. I'm sure that's a constructive argument that Blizzard can really cater to. But, you don't have to. Very much like the last one. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. And if they give me the option, okay, of garrisons, resources, followers, and whatever else have you that they've given us in Warlords of Draenor over the Mr. Pandora daily grind, then fuck me, my hand is going up in the air and I'm saying sign me up. I much prefer the new system of, I'm going to use air quotations, say dailies, over the old style Mr. Pandora. Here's 50,000 fucking dailies, do them every day, we're not giving you any other content, have fucking fun. I'll take the new one all day, every day. Rather than say you fucking hate it, why don't you give a constructive solution to how would you come up with a replacement for dailies? Okay, what's up next? Well, we have Voljin made me a general, yet all NPCs still call me commander. What's up? Nice, sweet, simple little one. If that's the only issue you had during the Warlords of... Oh, sorry, dude, if that's the only issue you had during the launch of Warlords of Draenor, just shut the fuck up, sit down, and consider yourself very, very lucky. Okay, this next one is, to be fair, something quite close to my heart because I had a lot of issues, saw a lot of friends go down with this during the GTA Online launch. But I'm not going to touch it on a lot of detail. I may do a video on it at another time. But here we go. I paid earlier for my race change and I still haven't got it. The fact that I can't even get on my character after waiting in queue for 2 hours. Any explanation for this? Now, I had a quick look further down the post. There was no explanation. There's a lot of people saying you're lucky, but that was about it. So, my point is, do people not learn from every major game launch? And I'm talking about, you look at pretty much any AAA title, I can think of very few. I know there are some, people put them down below in the comments, but very few that have not had some glitch. The worst of these glitches generally involves when real world money is involved, and that just makes it a whole heap of problem. Okay, never do anything that involves real money during a time of such instability. I understand that race change may seem unrelated, but at least you run the risk of having very little support if something does go wrong, and at worst, if it really goes Pete Tong, you're going to lose your money, potentially lose your character. I know they can recover all of this, but it's just not worth the risk of losing all that time, all that effort for a race change. Either if you knew you were going to do a race change this close to Warlords, do it well in advance, or just suck it up, play your character as it is now, and then wait and do it afterwards. I know people. Cuddles herself wants to change her monk into a panda. She has not done it on purpose because I pleaded, don't do it. This close to Warlords. Either side of Warlords, just don't do it because it's going to be a complete clusterfuck. So please, please, if you're coming up to a launch of an expansion or a new game that's having teething problems and they bring out some sort of pay for this for real world money, don't do it. Just don't. Just give it a week or so. It may feel like you're gimping yourself or whatever, but just don't. Alright, especially this. This was a race change. This was just a cosmetic thing. Dude, just suck it up. Okay, last but by no means least is... Hello everyone, I was just wondering if there was an add-on that saved in-game chat. You're all sitting there going, that's not the best... I know, it's a shameless plug! Apologies guys, this one is really shameless plug. Actually, if you do know of an add-on that saves in-game chat, why you'd want to, I don't know. But, if there is an add-on that you know of that saves in-game chat to a text file or whatever, I don't even know how it would be done, but if you know of one, then put it in below and I'll put the comment to this guy so he can sleep easy at night. The reason I have put this question on here is, as I said, it's a cheap little link for me because I have a new section on the channel called What the Add-on, and it's basically, as has been done before elsewhere, a look at my add-ons, what I'm using, because a lot of people ask me on the stream, so I thought, well, why not I go through each one, what they do, why I use it, and then generally go through add-ons that I currently have. I have approximately 200 add-ons in my add-on list, maybe more, maybe slightly less, I can't remember. And a lot of them I don't use, a lot of them I do use, so it all depends on the character I've got. So it'll be a little thing just on that. It's not going to last forever, but it'll be a little segment just on various add-ons and things. Okay, guys, thanks for bearing with me. That is the first Mailbox Monday, and I hope you liked it. It's going to grow. I'm going to hopefully throw in, as I say, a bit of Mordheim, a little bit of Warhammer Armageddon, all sorts. I've got all sorts of stuff I want to throw in, and obviously small Warlords of Draenor. Let me know if how you like the format. At the moment, I'm kind of breaking down the comment and counter-arguing different bits as it goes. Or would you like me to read the whole thing out and then do a big long diatribe? I don't know. It's up to you guys. Let me know what you think, and I will catch you all later. Have a good one.